our channel.
Hello!
Today we're going to talk about our worst workaway host, but in more detail.
Yes.
We've mentioned it previously on our channel before.
Tidbits.
Yeah, but we're just going to talk about why we say it was our worst one and how it wasn't too bad, but it was kind of.
In hindsight, it's not too bad.
But when you're there in the moment.
Yeah.
So we were actually really worried. Well, we weren't worried, but we were looking for workaway hosts in Norway, Sweden and Denmark, and nobody was really getting back to us. And when we finally got a reply from one, I requested, and I wrote quite a long request for each person, and they replied saying, yes, you're welcome to come, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, we got some
got
idea.
one, finally.
Yeah, because we just kept getting rejected. So that made us happy, but not so much after. So it started with us being in a nearby city, and they actually told us to go there and meet them there.
Yes, because we didn't quite know where their farm was.
Because they never told us, which is a bit.
And they said, oh, okay, so the closest city you can go to is Unsa. Mm. So we were like, alright, cool, that's fine, we'll go there. And they said that they'd pick us up from there. And we were like, okay, that sounds good. So we got our Airbnb and we got all our travel plans kind of aimed towards Unsa.
I think it was a couple of days before and on the day. They were like, well, you can also go here. We can pick you up from here. It was actually a lot closer to them. But we'd made our travel plans to that specific place.
Yeah, because they never mentioned that the other place before, 2 days before, and we'd already booked and paid for everything. So we were like, oh, well, we've actually got our travel booked there. Is it still okay to kind of pick us up from there? And they were, I don't know, it's a bit strange how it all started.
And they picked us up just from this Aldi, didn't they?
Yeah, just kind of, we were sat on a bench with all our stuff. And
then she picked us up, and I can innocently remember getting in the car and being like, a lot of workaways, hosts are dirty. They're, well, not dirty, unkept. They're not the tidiest of people.
Because they're all farmer type, or at least the ones we stayed with, were all farmer types, and farmers aren't generally they don't feel the need to be as kept.
Yeah, but I can remember getting in, and I can remember getting in the car and being like, this smells. Not
this
of smoke.
This smells.
Of smoke, and then I saw that there was a cigarette packet in there, but because I don't want to be rude and go on my phone and check on the workaway on the host page to see if they did smoke, and I was like, oh my god, I must have been in just such a rush to get with another workaway person that I didn't read the profile properly. So I was really worried about that.
Yeah, because we didn't want to be around. It's not that we hate people. Well, not anything against people that smoke. We just don't want to be around it.
Second-hand smoke scares me a lot, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
And it's a personal choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to be around. I don't want to live with someone that smokes. If I can choose to not live with that person, make sure your clothes smell.
Yeah,
I just don't like it. Not a big fan.
I thought, oh, it must be my fault. I mustn't have looked at it properly, and because the phone signal was patchy at their farm, I couldn't have a chance to look at it until 2-3 days later, and they actually didn't disclose that on their host profile. That is a tick that you're meant to put if you do smoke, and they didn't tick that.
Yeah. And
I think that was one of the big points as well. Was that they just didn't smoke, they chain smoked. And it was one after another. They had dinner outside and they would smoke a lot during dinner. They would smoke during work in the greenhouses. It was an organic farm, and smoking doesn't it's
a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but anyways.
But then on the flip side of that, people might say, oh, well, you could have just left if they were smoking, but it's kind of hard when to socialise with the people that you're staying with, which is what we wanted to do, if for 5 out of the 7 dinners of the week we want to leave because they're just smoking continuously around us.
And we couldn't have like left the actual place as well because we didn't have any further travel plans like booked yet. And we couldn't just leave, and then there wasn't. I don't even think there was hostels in Windsor, was there?
No, there was only like Airbnbs.
Yeah, so it was a bit difficult for us to leave and actually get away. We did leave early though from this workaway.
Yeah.
But when we pulled up to the farm itself, the main farmhouse was for the workawayers, and they had like a second cottage almost where they stayed, but it was really, really run down where they stayed. And
but that's where the shower was.
Yeah, and that's where the shower was in their place, and it just smelled very damp. It was a very damp room. Do you remember how damp it was?
It was. Yeah.
It was like really dingy, and like it just instantly like everything started to be affected by it, like allergy wise. So that wasn't the best. And then there was a bathroom in the workaway house, but that was only a toilet, and then the shower was in their place. And that actually, they didn't smoke inside of the workaway house. They only smoked outside, but they did smoke in the other workaway.
But also in the toilet where the toilet was, there was like, there used to be a shower in there, but they'd taken it out for whatever reason. So all the floor was like tiled, and and there was like cockroaches in there.
Yeah, there's cockroaches.
There was all sorts of kind of weird insects in there, and it was just kind of really dirty in there as well, wasn't it?
And it was next to the kitchen, which I found so weird.
Yeah, like right next to the kitchen though.
And do you remember that they didn't tell us what the things were in the shower? And I used them to stand on, but they were meant to be to dry on.
Yeah, but then she like made a snide comment at you.
Yeah, they made a lot of snide comments. If you did something that they didn't like, they wouldn't tell you. They kind of just made like really snide, picky comments.
Yeah, they weren't confrontational. They were just kind of backhanded.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're losing chronological order of things.
Okay,
so it smelled damp.
And then
the layout of the house was weird. The bathroom was in a weird position.
And then
but
the rest of the day was okay, but then the next day was a Sunday, and they asked us to work because they had a big order. So we were like, yeah, sure, expecting to be able to have like a day during the week off instead, or like cut down on something else. So we decided, like, yeah, we would, of course we'll help you to work. So we worked that day. The main issue that arose from that was that we actually never got the time back. So Workaway recommends 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. During that week, we worked 6 days.
Yeah, but the days weren't 5 hours. They were like, I think on Sunday we worked from like 10 till 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah.
So that was quite a long day for a Sunday. And we were like, oh.
Yeah.
Kind of just still getting used to it, and we were like, oh, it probably won't be like that the rest of the time. It's just a one-off, that's fine.
Yeah, because the issue with it is that they got orders in, and then we would work for them. So they actually had no permanent workers. We were their permanent people.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I like, because they're running a business, and they're basically getting their employees for kind of free.
Yeah. Well, it was quite kind of strange.
Because on the other farm we worked at, his was a professional business in Norway, but he had the professional person.
He had him and like that. Andreas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and his wife, and they used to fruit pick early in the morning and then late in the afternoon. So like the workaways were kind of helped a lot, but he didn't rely solely on them. Like he did his own work, and he worked hard for his own business.
But they didn't even, like, the woman had like a full-time job.
Yeah.
So, and then the dude was retired, and he barely did anything. He just popped around.
Yeah, he didn't really. So it was like they were able-bodied enough to work, but they just relied
on
pretty
us.
much solely on the workaways to do all the
Yeah.
work.
So we've spoken about how bad they were in terms of they were a bit snarky with comments, and the dishwasher didn't get anything clean ever, but they didn't really care.
Yeah.
And we would hand wash things and they would shout. The thing about Europeans is that they're really big on water and not wasting water.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time,
If something's dirty, you have to wash it.
Clean it.
Yeah, but they don't kind of want to.
Yeah. So that was a bit strange.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really strange. And then we spoke about the whole breakfast thing.
Yeah.
And how that was
Strange.
Yeah. I'm just going through the things that aren't work related, which were negative, and then we'll go on to the work things, which were.
Well, we could talk about the food.
Yeah. So, like we mentioned about breakfast, that the one time we did ask for something that she didn't really get it, and then we asked for yogurt, and we said just any fruit yogurt because we already had granola, we'd bought granola.
Yeah.
So we didn't need anything else. We just needed like yogurt to go with it. And she came back and bought 0.01% fat yogurt. Like
it was like water yogurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the reason, because they were an organic farm. They only used organic products and kind of forced that ideology on all of the workaways as well.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't, they said, oh, we'll stock the fridge up with what you want to eat, and then you'd ask for it and they'd go out and buy the product that they'd buy, not the one that you'd ask for.
Yeah.
So then it led to, I think, every single workaway that was there ended up just buying their own food. Pretty much,
which is kind of bad because we're meant to be getting that for free. But it's not like we were to be picky either. It's the fact that there wasn't a lot of choice, where everywhere else was like a lot of options for breakfast.
Yeah.
Whereas there wasn't.
But they didn't really supply us with food. They supplied us with food to the level that they wanted food, not that he wanted food. Because they didn't really eat a lot. She was always at work, so she'd eat at work, and then
he was filling himself up on cigarettes.
Yeah, was always eating cigarettes, so he was never hungry either.
Yeah.
So we'd kind of have to not go hungry, but I don't think I was very full a lot of the time.
One night they went out for food, didn't they?
Yeah.
But basically they left pasta out for us, dried pasta, and 2 habanero peppers.
Yeah. And there was nothing else.
There was
in the
no
fridge.
sauce. There was nothing else. Just dry pasta.
Yeah. And by the time that they told us that they were leaving and going out, it was really quite late in the day.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go to the shop or anything. So we just kind of stuck with dry pasta and peppers.
Yeah. I can't even remember what we made.
I can't remember either.
But yeah, that always kind of seemed a bit weird, so they just left out that, and then they would make a proper dinner every night, like a Sunday roast dinner every single night, and then the leftovers would be your lunch, because they said that they don't normally eat that way, but a lot of workaways are normally used to having 2 warm meals a day from where they're from, so they like to give them that. But then there wasn't enough normally left over for lunch.
Yeah, so you'd have to but they wouldn't provide anything else. They'd just, alright, dinner, and then leftovers, that's your lunch, like nothing else is in the fridge for you.
Yeah.
And more often than not, there was not enough leftovers to go around.
Yeah, so then you wouldn't eat as much at dinner, so you made sure that you would have lunch.
Yeah, yeah. But then other people would, they'd just, gorge almost.
Yeah.
And then they'd say they weren't going to eat lunch, but then come in and eat all the food.
Yeah. And then we had leftover pesto, which we brought with us, and they used our pesto in a pasta without even asking, kind of. That's just a pet peeve of mine when there's something in the fridge and you don't know where it's from. You kind of should ask, or you shouldn't, like, it's just, I don't know, etiquette, I think, but I think that your family always used to take my food out of the fridge, and I was like, well, where do they think it's coming from? But that's just me. It's just... But that didn't annoy me as much as the fact that they used the food. It was the fact, like, they used our food to make something, and then there was leftovers, and they didn't put it in our work-away fridge. They took it and put it in their fridge because they wanted it.
Yeah, so anything that they'd want from the leftovers for tea, they'd just kind of take away from us.
Yeah.
And put in their fridge for them to eat, and we would... So then we'd have less food to eat.
Yeah.
On for lunch. And it was really strange.
There was like barely any food that lunchtime as well.
Yeah. And we were like, where's the pasta? Where's the pasta? Can we have the pasta, please? So then they were like, and then went and got it.
Yeah.
But with lunch, we always had to make it.
Yeah. I always did it.
They would never, because it'd get to like 12 and we'd be really hungry.
Or later, 1, 2.
Yeah, and we'd be like, oh, we really want lunch, but no one is making it.
Yeah.
So we'd have to go in and make it, and then be like, oh, lunch is ready, and then they'd come in, eat all the food, and then sit outside, and then we'd have to kind of wait to go back to work.
Yeah. But the issue is that we're not saying them as in the host family, we're also saying in other workawayers.
Yeah, because they were from like similar culture where they were just kind of slow workers, like really slow workers.
Yeah, just very laid back. Like, I think that this is like the big cultural difference, is because we very much, you work, do all of your work, and then you can chill, relax, and do whatever you want with the rest of your day. Whereas with them, it just seemed to drag out.
Yeah. Like, sorry.
No, go on.
Like, I'm aware that we wanted to go to workaway to see and experience different cultures, but when the culture you're experiencing is so unaccommodating of your own,
but
that's when it becomes an issue.
I think the issue is that, yeah, fair enough, I would have been okay with that type of culture as long as they stuck to the 5 hours a day, but because we were working 5 hours before we even had lunch, and then we were expected to go back out.
Yeah, because then they'd like, because we knew what the work was like and how long and drawn out and how many hours they were going to make us work. We wanted to just be like, right, okay, if that's the case, then we want to get it over and done with. If you're going to make us work that long,
Yeah.
but we never could, because they'd always break for tea at like 10, and then they'd spend an hour just drinking tea and smoking, and then we break for lunch, and then they'd spend an hour and a half maybe at lunch, and it's like, oh, I want to do other stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see what's around. I don't want to sit and talk and watch you smoke.
So I think that kind of covers the whole, apart from work, what was bad.
Yeah. Very much.
But we've kind of mentioned that we had to pick to their orders. So we worked until we had completed their orders for them. And it doesn't sound that bad, but it kind of, like, it is when it's like, you need to pick 700 peppers, and then once you've picked them peppers, you need to go and pack all of them.
Yeah.
And we went into this like tiny little room,
Yeah.
and we packed, and like it was this really small load down table, so your back started to hurt, and you had to line out each pepper in 10, and then you had to go up and bag them.
Yeah.
So it was tedious. The packing was tedious, and then with the tomatoes, they had a really big tomato order. So, but like a couple, like they made us pick it like 5 days in advance, and they were growing like, what do they call it? Different coloured tomatoes.
Like a mixed box of tomatoes.
And they were one of the only organic, well, I think they were the only organic farm doing that type of tomato. But the thing is, the yellower the tomato, the sweeter they are, so the more likely they are to crack it open.
Yeah.
But with them making us pick it 5 days in advance and then packing it all, we were coming across loads of ones when we were putting it in that were broken. And then when we had to check it, and oh my god, do you remember when we would check it and then the other workaway would act like our boss?
Yeah.
That was annoying. She'd be like, oh, you're not checking these properly, you're not doing this properly.
Yeah. Like, because we spent like 6-7 hours a day picking tomatoes, and then we'd finish all of that, and we spent like 2 days packing, and then the order wasn't for another like 2 days, so then on the day before the order was meant to be released, they decided to go like just inspect them, and then realised that a lot of them had cracked because they'd been left, and
they weren't even refrigerated.
Some of them were just started to pop.
It was like an 8-hour day, and then the maid would go back out and check through all of the tomatoes.
Yeah.
But just leave the tomatoes, like, why do we have to pick and pack them so early
Yeah.
when they were just going to be left there anyways?
So then we had, like, our 8-hour day turned into like a 12-hour day because they were making us check all the tomatoes and pack them in the box again.
It was just a bit tedious, the work, and that even though you wouldn't do things and all the overtime hours and make them food and warm all the food up and do anything, you never got thank you.
No, I never.
You never got, oh, thanks for your hard work, or thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
So I think like that's what the lack of manners was. What also, it was like they expect you to do it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's fair to take advantage of people like that, because I think it was taking advantage.
I think so.
And I think it's taking advantage because they're a business and they're not hiring anybody, and them two are doing their thing.
Yeah.
As I said, no.
But the moral of the story is that if you ever feel like you're getting taken advantage of, don't feel obliged to stay just for a good review, because you can always mention it to Workaway if you feel like that's happened, or you can do what Francesca did and kind of write it as a note just to Workaway about leaving a bad review.
Yeah.
Just try and keep a level head and just leave. There's no contract. You don't have to stay and feel taken advantage of.
Yeah, because I think I would like to view it as a contract, because you are agreeing to something in it. By law, it is a verbal and written contract because you're agreeing to certain things and other thing. And
that's true.
I think it is legally a contract, but the hosts don't look at it as a contract. 2 out of the 3 of our hosts, Yanova actually didn't say it, but the other 2 have stated that there is no contract. That they don't believe that there is a contract. So do bear that in mind, that if they don't believe there is a contract, then you aren't on a contract.
Yeah.
So you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah. Well, my point was that you it's nothing like set in stone where you have to stay for this amount of time. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, then
no, you don't have to.
You don't have to stay. Just leave.
For watching this video, give it a like and a comment, and we'll answer your questions if you have any down below. Subscribe for any more information on travelling.